It's the same plant. The roots are still working. It's a perennial. What does it look like that you see in your garden? It looks like a dandelion, but it isn't. It's wild lettuce. It's related to the dandelion. The dandelion has these leaves that stay on the ground, but this wild lettuce has stems that get pretty damn tall. And here they are just starting to come up. Let us take a look at it. They look sort of like long dandelion leaves with teeth pointing toward the back of the base of the leaf. They're a little lighter green, especially on the underside than the dandelion. And you can see that it's a taller plant and has stems. And who likes lettuce? Okay, let us give you some to try. This gets bitter, but it's just come up, and it probably isn't very bitter now.
They don't spray this one?
No, they don't spray in the park. It's very tender. Do you taste the lettuce flavor? Get a little more of it. It's not definitely.
I'll let you do it.
Here's a wild lettuce, much smaller teeth than the dandelion.
Sorry, I couldn't hear that.
Okay. Here's wild lettuce in my left hand, dandelions in my right hand. You can see the teeth of the dandelion are a lot sharper. We will be picking dandelions to eat later, but I think there's a place where there'll be more of them that's not right by the road, which is where Chris found this one. And the underside of the wild lettuce, you can see the color is a little bit lighter than the dandelion. I think it is. Slightly different color.
How much bigger does the leaf get, the wild lettuce leaf?
The wild lettuce, I think they get about this long. And they get really, really bitter. Now, how many of you like to cook? Okay, you made it, but 40 minutes late. All right, let me get your contribution. It's $10, please. Okay, how many of you cook? Any cooks here? All right, what you do with the wild lettuce if you want to cook it, you put it in a frying pan with some garlic and olive oil, and saute it about 20 minutes. You add some Bragg's liquid amino acids, which is salty but not as high sodium as salt, or some tamari soy sauce. And then you put on some toasted sesame seeds and a little bit of hot pepper, cayenne pepper, or put in a little chili pepper right at the beginning. And you have a very, very delicious cooked vegetable where the slight bitterness you taste now is completely gone. The other thing you can do with it is saute it 20 minutes with a mild-tasting vegetable like cauliflower, and then put a sour sauce on it. You could put some coconut milk with some arrowroot mixed in, and some curry powder, and then you have a Southeast Asian wild lettuce curry, which is actually going to be in my upcoming cookbook because I just thought of it this second, and I'm going to make this with a wild lettuce tonight. I've also cooked wild lettuce, and the same is true for other slightly bitter greens that get awful later in the season. All right, I'm going to get some in here. If there's any left. You get all of them in here? Oh, no, look. Nice young tender one, just starting to come up under the leaves. Okay, this is... We have another major edible plant right here. Come back. Just to let it get that interesting. dig up a piece to look at the root. Leaves that look, okay, tell me when you're rolling. And I'm rolling. Okay, this is sweet Sicily or anise root. It is not anise, which is a garden plant. And it has a nice little root underground. Not a very deep one. It's related to a carrot, that's correct. And smell the root when you scratch it. You smell the licorice smell? If you love licorice, you'll love it. If you hate licorice, you'll hate it. If someone has some water, extra water, we can rinse this off. We'll take one piece. You spotted it, so you'll get to keep the rest of the plant. The leaves are delicious too. Can you hold this? Here, hold this. Okay, let's wash this off very slowly. Yeah, yeah.
That's great.
The bugs hate this, so that's how it protects itself. Okay, here, take a taste. Actually, let me get
I smell it.
Kleenex and make sure all the mud is washed off.
Good.
You can put this in soups. You cook this like a carrot. Any kind of recipe like a carrot cake or lunch, or back there either. Keep both feet off the ground. Yes. Okay, this is the first time I've seen this plant this year, and it's one of my favorites. It is related to garlic mustard. The leaf looks totally different. What part of the plant do you think would look similar in plants that are related if the leaves look different? No? The flower, the flowers. That's actually how Linnaeus created the first scientific classification of plants. He counted the petals and the stamens and pistils and classified plants that had those similarities with each other, as opposed to classifying things according to how useful they are to humans, like putting rodents and insects in the same category as vermin. That was the previous type of classification. This is another member of the mustard family, like garlic mustard. And when you come on walks in May, you'll see the flowers are very similar. Or if you look in my book during lunch, it has a long leaf. The leaf is subdivided into these segments, and the points point toward the tip of the plant. Which way do the points point on the wild lettuce? Toward the base. This is called poor man's pepper. It's in the mustard family. It is incredibly delicious, and it's also very healthful. Mustard plants, garlic mustard and poor man's pepper, both have phytoestrogens in them. These are natural substances that are chemically similar to estrogen. They will land on the cell where estrogen normally enters and sit there and not do anything, not let the estrogen in. By blocking, oh, please put out the cigarette before it blows at us. What estrogen does when it goes into a cell is it tells the cell to divide. There are super estrogens in the environment, like DDT and the various herbicides and pesticide residues that you have on food, that will cause your cells to divide over and over and over and over again. You just need one mistake in cell division and you have a cancer cell. By blocking both natural and artificial estrogens from entering cells and causing the cells to divide, you are preventing cancer. Those are called phytoestrogens, plant estrogens, fake estrogens that fool the cell but don't cause the cell to divide and therefore prevent cancer. And these are very delicious tasting. Who'd like to try this? Who likes spicy things? Basil rosette. The leaves are all coming out of the base of the plant. First article I ever wrote, I talked about the basil rosette of garlic mustard, and the editor changed the spelling from B-A-S-I-L to from B-A-S-A-L to B-A-S-I-L, leaving the reader wondering where was the recipe for spaghetti sauce. Now you want to get the whole rosette, so what you do is you cut the root under the plant. Well, I'm making a sweeping, curving motion with a knife like this. See, a little circle. The whole rosette comes out. The root, part of the root stays in the ground and thereby can regenerate, because you don't need the root of this plant. You put the soil back, we don't want to leave holes either. And this is actually 2 rosettes. Then you can just pull off the dead leaves, rinse off the whole rosette, and then at home you cut off the leaves at this level after they've been washed. This way they all stay together until you're finished washing them. It makes it much easier to handle. Who wants a rosette of poor man's pepper? It's delicious. You put it in salads, you cook it lightly, sauces, soups. Incredibly delicious member of the mustard family. Lepidium virginiatum. Like, yes, go like that.
That's good enough.
We'd have to look in my, take a piece and look it up in my book, but don't put it with any of the edible plants. Okay, this has a very similar leaf to the wild carrot, which we may or may not see later. We will definitely be collecting shopping bags of wild carrots tomorrow in Marine Park. And the wild carrot has hairs on the stem. This has no hairs at all, sort of like the top of my head. Also, it has no carrot odor to it. Can you smell the no carrot odor? You don't even have to hold it near your nose. You could be a mile away and you won't smell the carrot. It has no carrot odor, no odor at all. Yeah, and probably a leaf like this could get you very sick or maybe even kill you. This is a very poisonous plant, and I've never seen it here before. I saw it across the street in the woods. Fool's parsley. People have actually thought that this was parsley and eaten it and died from it. Oh, do we have fool's parsley in here? Let's see, here's water hemlock. You know, there may not be an illustration of fool's parsley. I may just have may have just mentioned it.
Okay, this is the plant. The leaf. This is the leaf.
That's okay.
Now, don't collect it. Don't collect it. This is poison. I know.
Doesn't have the, not really.
But he said don't put it with
He said don't put it in there. I just wanted to show.
No, I don't think I have this illustrated. There are so many poisonous plants in the carrot family that it really didn't make sense to illustrate them all. No, it's one I don't have an illustration of. And here's the wild lettuce in mature. Oh, this purple on the base of the leaf is a warning also.
There you go. I know. I've never really ridden Western saddle.
All you gotta do is sit down. All you gotta do is sit down.
Sort of reflex. The horse trots, I pull.
That's hot.
Yeah, you are a nice horse.
You know there's a stable around?
Over the next year.
identify the different plants first, and then you'll have a chance to pick whichever ones you like the most. Right down here is something that looks a little bit like a dandelion. There is a dandelion over here too. Except the leaves don't have the big teeth on them. And this is chicory, growing in basal rosettes. Several chicory plants here. Toothed leaves, not as deeply toothed as dandelion. Like the dandelion and the wild lettuce, there's a white milky sap where you break it off. And you wash this off, and it is very, very delicious. Someone have some water handy?
Yeah, I do.
Let's wash off some of these leaves. Red on them. And here is the dandelion. Similar flavors, also here. Similar to the and here's the chicory. The white little ones, because they still have some.
Wait, what's a dandelion?
It's a little bit bitter. Cooking this with seasonings makes them really delicious.
Anybody want chicory?
Okay, now here's one that is not bitter. This is called chickweed. It's called chickweed because I were chicken. People used to give this to sick people who were convalescing and needed to regain their strength because it has so many vitamins in it, long before vitamins were discovered. It has these beautiful white flowers, and you look at them with a magnifying lens. How many of you know what a carnation looks like? Here, hold this. This in the other hand. Tell me if this doesn't look like a tiny little carnation.
Oh, yeah.
The carnation is related. Who else wants to look at that lens? Put the lens right up to your eye. There you go. It's better without the glasses. In salad, you can put it in soups. You can steam it. It's very delicate. It doesn't need much seasoning. What do you think of the flavor? A little like corn? Here.
That's picking me some here, though. You know.
This is another one they sell in the health store. You make a tea out of it, which acts as a diuretic. No, the whole thing. The leaves, the flowers, and the stems. Stellaria. It's a little like corn, right? This is chickweed, and the other one was chicory, and there were also dandelions. Wait, before you start collecting, there are other things.
Okay.
Yeah. There are other things I plant with a roundish pleated leaf. This is called common mallow. It's chewy, a little bit like okra. It'll have a slight thickening effect on soups. You can also put it into salads. It's in season most of the year. This is common mallow, Malva neglecta, so don't neglect to taste some. Here. Take a bite. It's growing next to the tree here. Has beautiful little flowers that haven't really opened up yet. Don't uproot the mallow.
Looks like the garlic mustard. Like it has that.
It looks a little like the garlic mustard. It's much, much more mild. And what did I see back there? Okay. Oh, here. That's with it. Okay. Over here, under Chris's Yes, yes. I've got to get to the other side here. go. Oh, it's tiny.
Blackberries have flat edges, raspberries are round. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, here is another bramble, and from what I told you before, which bramble do you think this is? This is the blackberry because even bare, it has flattened sides. That's how you tell the difference. And there are different species of blackberries. This is the common blackberry, Rubus allegensis. There are some empty lots in Rockaway around Beach 66, a block from the boardwalk, where I go every August and collect pounds and pounds of European cutleaf blackberries, which produce very, very abundant crops of both berries and nasty sharp thorns. So you have to be covered up. What I do is I wear work gloves, one hand completely covered by the glove, the other hand I cut the fingertips off, not while I'm wearing the glove, so that I can reach the berries with the most protection without squashing the berries with the glove. And these are these are the late summer, second to third week of August into early September, depending on whether we have an early summer or a late summer, and the wild blackberries are very, very delicious. Someone asked about